Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. The dreaded after lunch spot. Can I keep you all awake? I got up at 3:30 this morning from Boston on a flight, so I'm going to try to stay awake for this presentation. And as things happen in threes, this projector does not like my Mac, so we're going to have to deal with a little bit of glitching, but it's okay. It's all just to keep you awake after lunch. It's all part of the plan, right? So today we're going to talk about from transactions to personal engagements. How many of you think this is super engaging? All right, there were a couple hand raisers, and we should talk about that afterwards. But we'll talk about it over cocktails. It kind of feels like me yelling at my son to clean his room, right? Real picture. It's disgusting. And we have to ask ourselves, why? Why should they buy now? Why should they shop now? Why should they spend time with us? And it really is about the value here. And what value are we delivering to them in return? We are now in the world of two-way relationships and two-way communication. And so for them to give us their time and attention, we need to think about what are we giving them in return. So the real question we're going to talk about today is how do we create consumer experiences that guide, inspire, deliver joy, put a smile on their face? And we're going to start with 3 simple rules. I'm going to go through the rules, and then don't worry, I'm going to show you a bunch of examples of this, and have your phones ready. Haha, you already do. They're in your hand and you're texting. So let's go. Rule number 1, genuine value exchanges. As I said with the show me the value. What we are talking about and what we do at Jebbit is really think about what is the value exchange that will get a consumer to engage in really high rates. And over our years of doing this, it has come down to these 6. I'm sure more will arise later, but save me time, give me a recommendation, entertain me, test my knowledge, teach me something, unlock a benefit for me. These are all tried and true ways of starting an engagement with a consumer that will get you really, really high take rates. So it is this flip, right, from again, transactional to personal, from commands to questions. We are not barking an order at them, shop now, buy now, engage now, but we are pulling them in and we're inviting them in by asking them a question. So you can see here, see, there goes the flicker. Paying attention? How much of a ranch OG are you? What snack are you? Are you smarter than an 8th grader? Are you ready for your Paris getaway? These are all ways that if we just flip our script and stop pushing at them and inviting them in, they will engage. Rule number 2. This is a hard one because as marketers, forever, we have been told, right message, right person, right place. It has been drilled in our heads over and over again. And I'm going to say, let's change it. Let's do a flip. I'm going to let my audience self-select and tell me what they want and take their own journey. And guess what? The brilliance of that is you will never be wrong. You will never pick the wrong message to the wrong person if you are letting them choose what their journey is and what they care about. So an example, my flashes are getting faster. You can do this really well with all different ways to kind of engage. Product recommendations, personality quizzes, trivia. We're going to see some examples of this, but hopefully, let's see if this goes. All right. Here's this example with Gillette. It starts with what does your shaving personality say about you? Again, starting with a question, inviting them in. You will see there's some rational questions. What best describes your skin? What do you look for in a razor? But look at this. What is going through your head when you shave? That is not a data point you can get from any other data set that you have today. So when we talk about emotional loyalty, engagements like this truly allow you to get to those questions that you can't get from your behavioral and transactional data. You saw there's a quick lead capture. I get the outcome of I'm the speedster with a fun little personality right up here, and I actually got recommended to a product. So it wasn't Gillette coming at me saying, buy Venus now or buy Mach now. It was letting me choose, giving you the answers to the questions, and then determining which product based on what I said to you now. You even see you could add some virality with social sharing and things like that. Rule number 3 is shifting data mindset. Forever, it has been about data lakes and grabbing everything and anything just because we can. And how much of that is actually activated? How much of it do we use versus just sitting there forever? Or how much of it we collected, but it's like, it's not really relevant. It's not driving their personalization. It's not driving what we want to talk to them about. So for this last rule, it's really about shifting from this notion of big data and trying to get anything and everything just because we can, to this world of small data that is purposeful, that is thinking about how am I going to use it? How am I going to pay it back to this consumer that I heard them and deliver them a better, more relevant experience? How many people have heard of zero-party data? It's a loyalty audience, so I expect more hands raised than normal conferences that I speak at. But if you remember, there's a big debate whether people love or hate the word zero-party data. I don't care. The thing to really think about is within the world of first-party data, you have your behavioral, you have your transactional. It's super important, but at the end of the day, it's inferred. You're making an assumption because I clicked on something, I want it, or because I bought it, it was for me and not a gift for someone else. So when we talk about zero-party data, it really is this explicit hand-raising, the consumer told me. It's more accurate, and again, it gets to the data that you can't get from your other data sources. It can get to these emotional drivers and future purchase and future considerations and things that you're thinking about. So one simple way to think about this, if you are doing an experience, and on average we say like 3 to 5 questions is the right mix. If you only have 3 to 5 questions to ask, what should you ask? How do you think about that? This isn't a long survey. So a simple framework to think about is, what is my intent-based question? What problem are we trying to solve? Do they need, in this case, inspiration, education, or navigation? Get context right. Who is it for? We're heading into the season of dirty data, right? Where we're making assumptions that because I bought something, I'm going to be retargeted endlessly when it might be a gift for somebody else, and I have no business with that brand. Preferences. What are the rational needs? Like that Gillette example, you do need to know skin sensitivity and what you look for in a razor. The flashes are increasing. I'm sorry, y'all. But what are the things that are going to drive the right product outcome for you? And then last, emotion. How do you want them to feel? What outcome do you want them to get? Or what kind of connection with the brand do you want them to have? So if you put this all together, and if you can see it, the anatomy of a great experience, kind of taking these rules and throwing it together, genuine value exchange, 3 to 5 rational, emotional questions, a personalized outcome for the consumer, and a relevant redirect based on what you're trying to do and where you're trying to send them. Again, it could be a product, it could be a piece of content, it could be unlocking some benefit for them. All right. Any questions so far before I go into some examples? Yes? I'm excited there's a question. Yeah, so I'll answer a couple different ways. From an engagement perspective, meaning once someone started an experience, how many go all the way through? On average, we see an 85% completion rate. These can be put in any digital channel, so when you get to response rate, then I'm going to ask, are we talking social? Are we talking email? Are we talking on-site? Obviously, all those benchmarks differ, but the one sort of baseline engagement is 85%. We're going to show you some that are a lot higher than that, and across different aspects of marketing. Any other questions? Yeah. Yeah, I think, so there's, I guess, two ways to think about it. One is progressive profiling, right? So what are the 3 to 5 that I need to capture at this stage where they are in this moment? But then as I build the relationship with them and talk to them again, what do I then want to know next? And the time after that, and the time after that. So if you think about this from a funnel or from a life cycle perspective, we're always working with clients to say, okay, what do you need to know at acquisition? Right? What are the biggest drivers that are going to get them to convert? And then, of course, the questions will change and get deeper as we talk about an existing customer, a loyalty member, someone that's been with us for a long time. Did that answer your question? Okay, we'll chat after. I'll answer the rest of it. Any other questions? All right. So I am going to, by the way, here comes the interactive part of the presentation, so let's all play along at home. Again, know you have your phone, so feel free to scan the QR code and take this experience as I play it here. But we're going to start with ELF. And these flashes are killing me. Is it not going to play? All right. Snag number 2 in my presentation. Now you're all going to have to take the QR code because this isn't playing. Excuse me. But ELF has a loyalty program. One of the things that they do to start talking to members and getting them to engage is a skincare routine, very popular in beauty. They're able to ask questions like, what kind of skincare? What's your skin type? What are your skin concerns? How many products do you use? I don't know. Oh, he's not there. I was wondering if we could play it from back there. This has, again, we talk about those benchmarks. This experience has an 83% completion rate. It's able to capture over 6 attributes about someone, because some of those questions are multi-select, for every new member they get, and earns about 73 seconds of engagement. The piece that is not on this slide that I will tell you is it's been a 30% increase in member acquisition for them. They use a host of other experiences after this point, but this is one that they've used in a lot of channels to drive new user acquisition. The next one, I wish I could play it. Oh, this one's going to play. Brilliant. Okay, ASICS. When you join the ASICS 1 program, instead of your first touch being a long email, throwing everything at the kitchen sink at them, you get this what type of runner are you personality quiz. Now, you will see it's absolutely violating what I said earlier about 3 to 5 questions. They are getting over 22 new data attributes on a user at the start. But if you think about that moment in time, you just signed up for a loyalty program. You are never more engaged with the brand at that moment and willing to give more time and attention to them. So this experience, again, feel free to take it home. It is asking, how often and long do you run? Obviously, ASICS is a huge running brand, so they want to understand, how many miles, how many times a day how many times a week do you run? Why do you run? The emotional question. What are your running goals? When do you, and then of course we get into some rational, like when are you buying new shoes, sneakers, tennies, depending on where you live. What communications do you want to hear from us about? This experience has a 90% completion rate. Again, that moment in time when you first join a program. 71% go on to asics.com and shop what they get matched to, because there's a curated list based on your outcome. Over 103 seconds of engagement, and as I mentioned, 22 data attributes collected at the very beginning of the relationship with this new loyalty member. Here, that's not even the coolest part. Here's the coolest part. The end of that outcome is only one of 4 things. So when we talk about personalization's really hard and it's overcomplicated and you need to have everything perfect, you don't. The end of that quiz is either a fitness runner, a mindful runner, a performance runner, or life cycle runner. And for ASICS, that goes right into Salesforce. That starts the 4 different journeys for their segmentation. So when I mentioned earlier about flipping the model and letting them self-segment, this is a prime example of that. Them answering the questions and letting basically the consumer do the segmentation for ASICS. Of course, other huge insights for the business that they're sharing across the board. 55% run more than 3 times a week. 40% are running for both mental and physical reasons. And this last one's important. 36% have no interest in racing. Again, ASICS is a big running brand. A lot of their loyalty program is buying bibs and investing in marathons. When we talk about media waste, which we know there's so much of, or just hitting people that do not care about that message and annoying them, that's their suppression file. For everyone who has no interest in racing, they are suppressed from every single thing they're doing about, again, bibs, marathons, everything else. They are not bothering these people with it. And as we move into a world with no cookies, and tracking's hard, and there's even more waste and harder to follow, this of who not to send to is just going to be as important as who to send to. So, you sign up for ASICS 1, you get that first welcome series of what type of runner are you, let's learn about you. Next thing in any loyalty program, whether it's part of the first or the second, a long-ass email of benefits that nobody reads, right? What did they do here? ASICS decided to, let's see if it plays, yes, gamify it and use trivia to teach about benefits. So instead of that long list of here's all the ways you can earn and here's all the ways you can burn and I hope to God you read it, they made it fun. So is it true if I wear my shoes I can't return them? Actually, that's false. You have 90 days. So this is a great way to teach about the benefits of the program without the person feeling like they are being taught. So they are able to cover their return policy, how to use their running app, their shipping policies, and each time at the end of that, they are switching out to get some insights back on benefits. As they think about new benefits, they are using that audience to say, hey, which one do you care about most? Again, 80% completion rate, 78% go on to the site afterwards, 70 seconds of engagement. Next up, we are going to hit travel. We're going to leave retail for a little while and jump over to the travel industry. Charisma Hotels has the Travelers program, which is across a lot of their properties. And so as we think about how do we drive next purchase, you've stayed at one resort, we're trying to get you back and trying to get you to understand the portfolio. I'll click here. This is a great example. Some fun layup questions to pull them in, get them to engage. What cocktail are you? What do you like to do at the resort? Other kinds of activity questions. Who are you going with? What vacation, ideal resort style are you looking for? Nightlife. We're going to get to the end. I picked kids. I'm going to get Nickelodeon Resort every single time. Quick lead capture, but again, doing a great job educating about the portfolio, matching to your next resort, trying to get that next purchase. And again, learning really important things like who they're traveling with, what activities do they care about. This puppy has a 97% completion rate. It's a great part of their program. Huh? Everybody. We didn't start out that way. The beauty about this is these are never one and done. It's not like you did a campaign, you pushed it, and you hoped it worked. These can be as you get the learnings, as you see what's happening, you can go in, you can update, you can change, you can pull a question, you can add a question, you can just keep getting better and better so you can constantly beat your previous. We gamify the results. All right, again, we're in the holiday time, right? So how do you deliver discovery and inspiration? A holiday gift guide. Again, season of dirty data. I am now getting flagged and retargeted endlessly for golf clubs that I bought for my husband that I do not want. But you don't know that, and you're bothering me forever instead of asking me the simple question, is this for you or is this for somebody else? Oh, it's for somebody else? Who is it? Oh, a spouse? Great, what's his birthday? I'll hit you every year instead. How about that? Free People is a client of ours, did a gift guide. Again, that most important question, right sizing, who are you shopping for? Asking a bunch of fun stuff, and even using hotspots and overlays to make the images shoppable right then and there. So gamification within gamification, if you will. So 71% completion rate, 45 went on to the site, 71 seconds of earned engagement. I think this is my last one. Ongoing engagement. So you have your core programs, you have your emails going out, you have your in-app pushes. How do you get people to keep coming back, back, back? Express has been a client of ours for a long time, and they rebranded us as like their monthly shop style quiz that they push in-app and in email every single month. They've made it super easy because the template is done, and they just hit new one, switch out the questions, switch out the looks, for whatever's in store this month, and they're up and running again in like 30 minutes for the next month. They've made it really, really easy and turnkey. So in this case, they wanted to understand, they also, by the way, take opportunities to learn. We may have your denim share of wallet. We may have your casual wear share of wallet. What else can we get? So in this example, it was where to work. And so again, feel free to scan. It branches. Again, these can be linear, or they can branch and take you down different journeys depending on how you're answering the questions. But are you, classic timeless pieces? Are you it? Are you cocktails? I'm cocktails all day long over breakfast. And then how do you dress for work? So again, a little personality outcome at the end of it, and you can go on to shop those styles. Because they're tracking it and tying it to their loyalty card number. So yeah, so Express knows the average, on average for their loyalty members, how often they're shopping. One of the goals was is can we shrink down that window? On average, it's about 5 months. Can they get that? Can they get that shorter? And can they inspire a new purchase in new categories? And so that's how this is tied. We're passing loyalty ID through and back to them, so they're able to track it on that side. And so yeah, it's probably higher than that, to be honest with you. They haven't given me a new update this year. But again, this is an easy rinse and repeat. Switch it out every single month, push new in-app, give them a couple points for taking it, learn more about them, and guess what? Oh, I got matched to something I like, or I didn't realize this in store. What do? I go right to express.com and purchase. It's self-service in our platform. So they have one template that they've mastered. Again, I didn't put in here their completion rates each time are like 96%, because again, they've mastered it. They figured out what works for them. Just copy and paste, do the new month, switch out the images based on what's in store and relevant, and they're off to the races again. Yep. Yeah, completely. True. Yeah, it is. It's more about relevancy in this case than it is about personalization, because the personalization again is being, in a lot of these experiences, being taken care. You don't have to worry about it because the consumer's doing it for you. You don't have to do it. So it's making it really easy. So key takeaways, going back to those 3 simple rules. Deliver genuine value. Again, when you go to think about your marketing, start with what's in it for them. What am I offering? Why should the consumer give me the time and attention right now? 2 is, again, thinking about small data. Ask, don't assume. We make a lot of incorrect assumptions. Again, holiday time, what Free People had learned, that when they asked the question, I neglected to say this earlier, 50% picked that they were shopping for somebody else. So again, half the time they would have been wrong with that audience if they had just made the assumption instead of asking the question. And then lastly, again, thinking small and actionable. If I ask this question, how is it going to help drive my segmentation? How am I going to pay it back to the consumer and let them know I heard you and I'm not wasting your time asking for questions and data that goes absolutely nowhere and you never play it back to me? I have a couple of questions to lead you with, but I'm happy to, yeah.
Okay, I have 2 questions. So
Yeah.
The first is, are the quizzes on the brand's website, like literally on the website?
and part of the web experience is an example, or do they live in a Jebbit website, and how does that journey work for the consumer? And then the other piece is the data journey. So I'm kind of wondering, okay, the data gets collected by Jebbit, it goes into whatever we have, CDP, CRM system, whatever. Is all the work from there basically on the brand and their tools to actually make hay out of this data?
Yeah. Okay. Two very good questions. Let me take the first one. So where do these live? How does it work? When you create one of these experiences, you're just creating a URL. You have a choice. I want a URL code, an embed code, or a QR code, depending on where you want to put it. So in social, you're grabbing that URL code. You're scrolling on Facebook. You see, what should I wear tonight? Take the quiz. Once you click, it's staying. It's not interrupting your social media experience. It's just overlaying it. Once you get out of it, you're right where you were to begin with. On a website, you can embed. And so if you go to, as an example, like marmot.com right now and go to their jackets category, you'll see right at the top embedded, it doesn't look like us at all. It looks entirely native to the site. Find the right jacket for you. And then in email, so yeah, on site, you can, let me finish the site question first. You can embed, you can have it as a lightbox configuration, you can have it as a chatbot. We call it a companion unit configuration, all depending. Like chatbot, if you're trying to guide someone quickly, answer a few questions and we'll get you on the way on the site, that's great. If you're trying to drive email capture, stop with the dreaded lightbox. As soon as they get to their site, they don't even know if they want to shop with you or not. It's like, bam, give me your email address and I'll give you 20% off. It's a horrible consumer experience. So we just ran a study with a couple of brands and said, let's A/B test that. Let's put a quiz and take that approach, but in a lightbox configuration versus A/B test the lightbox itself. Amit, do you remember the results of that? It was high and I just posted. 6x. 6x more emails by giving them a lovely, helpful consumer experience over the give me your email address now type of one. That answers the channel question for you? Yeah. Oh, so email. So email, you'll start with, obviously we wish, but this is up to the email providers to embed the whole experience. We can't do that yet. Hopefully that technology will come. But we can embed the first question. So in email, you can embed the very first start of the quiz. They can click, and then it will just pop another browser. More and more, we are seeing on-pack, if you're D2C, putting a QR code in box or on box. We're seeing a lot of CPG brands put on product. QR codes are cool again. So we're seeing a lot of that happen too. Yeah. So on average, we see an increase of 2 to 3x on email open rates. And it's for a very simple reason. You said it. Am I sending here's our latest news and offers, please open? Or are we saying, let's find the right outfit for you? Or let's learn more about you, or if you're starting again with that question, even in email, if the question is being posed in the subject line, we are seeing a lot higher open rate, because again, we're making it about them and not about us. You can, it's totally up to you. Yes. On a lead form specifically, you mean? Yeah, so it's something, so a couple best practices there. Always do the lead form if you're in the US, if you're in the UK. We got other things to talk about. Lead form best practice is always right before their personalized outcome. So let them go through the beginning experience, pull them in right before they're about to get matched to whatever we're going to match them to. That is the best place for the lead form. You can A/B test, no thanks, show me my results, making it mandatory or not mandatory. We always say to test that. And then, of course, how much are you asking them? And so the fewer questions we're asking about them, just email address or first name, last name email address, the higher completion rates you're going to get. When you start to do a lead form that looks like, hospital records, then you're gonna lose them. And so the beauty about the platform is you can A/B test anything, and that's some of the early work that we always want to do. Is let's get some of those core mechanics of data capture and PII capture, and what's going to work best for you and your brand. Yeah, I love all these. Are you kidding me? How many presentations I've done where it's like nothing afterwards? Yeah, amazingly enough, not much. We've had some major global CPGs that are all in your household that have tested this, and they have seen very little drop off in the difference. They are. And it also depends on how big you make it or how, usually the enter is a box and the no thanks, just show me my results is a little text line. There's things like that to creatively to play with. Any other questions?
Ted, second part of this question around the data
Oh, yes, sorry, I forgot. Okay, data capture, yes. So we consider ourselves platform agnostic. We consider ourselves like sitting in front of whatever the rest of your tech stack is and feeding it better, more accurate data. So it is entirely up to you. We pride ourselves on our integrations. We're building new integrations all the time for clients, depending on whatever three-letter acronym in your tech stack you want it to go. So that's part one, yes. And then part two, on your end, is simply once we decide what questions we want to ask and what attributes we're trying to collect, it's just making sure that's mirrored to take in those attributes and fields on your side. Within our platform, the nice thing about it, especially for global brands or working across lots of departments, is the data team or whoever's driving data strategy can set those attributes in our platform to say, like for Express, for example, uses this piece to say they have four, you're either Emily, Parker, Paige, or somebody else. And they can set those that depending on how you answer questions, floral, stripes, this, that's all funneling into their segmentation. So most people go into the rest of their tech stack to pull those audiences, but it's also very easily, you can in our platform go, you know what, give me an audience of everyone who ever said, dresses, polos, and something else, and build the audience that way too. Yes?
from beginning, middle to end, separating out and getting legal agreement.
Yep.
What does the timeline typically look like to understand how to make it work, then configure your platform and develop creative one, maybe a series of campaigns, but the test and design
Yep.
as well, and then also align the database collection so that you can't come up again on the normal 12-week or what?
Yeah. So I'll give you. It's usually the slowdown is usually on the brand side in the amount of internal creative reviews and things like that. In our platform ourselves, because we have an SMB like freemium version, there are people building a product match quiz, launching it on their Shopify site same day, within hours. But for enterprise brands, I would say on average it's about 30 days from contract signing to working through what exactly they want to build, getting it built, doing the testing, and getting all the proper reviews and whatnot live. But then you have extreme, like Bacardi wanted something live for Halloween, and they were up and running in 2 weeks. So it's really, the platform itself is built for marketers. All the features that we're used to, dragging, dropping, all the normal things that we see in PowerPoint and Canva and Word and everything else is the same way our platform is. It's a platform built for marketers. So the build part is fast and easy. It's just usually everything else that slows us down. Yep. Any other questions? All right. I had a couple other, this was originally more of a workshop. The last 3 things I'll leave you with to think about and take your own notes for your brand are kind of starting with the end in mind and working backwards as you think about this. So what part of your program is in need of a makeover? What are the goals? Like, what are you most focused on? Is it welcome series that you've got to improve? Is it member acquisition? Is it repeat purchases? Think about what's going to drive the biggest impact for your business and your team. Then what data in that stage is important to know? How am I going to play it back to them? What are the couple data points that are super important? How would you use it to improve their experience? Again, you can think about this framework as you think through that. And then the last piece, which kind of dictates what experience, should it be a product match quiz? Should it be trivia? It kind of dictates it, is what value exchange would you offer to help them in that moment? Excuse me. So those are the 3 things, like I said, I always start with the end in mind and then work backwards from there. But if you're thinking about this for your business, that's how I would approach it. Reminder on value exchange, and that's it. Yeah, thank you.